Hello guys, in this video we are going to learn about the computer science and we'll see why you should study computer science and what are the components inside a computer. So let's begin the class. Okay, so first of all, what is computer science? Computer science is the study of computer and computational thinking. It includes the purpose and operation of hardware, software and networks. In other words, in computer science we study the computer hardware, computer software and about the computer networks. Why should you study computer science? So there are a few reasons that you should study computer science. The first reason is the tech's big role. Computers are everywhere today, so learning about them helps you to keep up with the world. Second is skill. Studying computer science sharpens your brain for solving puzzles, being creative, and thinking logically. And third one is job. After studying, you can work in lots of cool areas like technology, science, and money stuff. Okay, so now discuss what is inside the computer case. Okay, so this is the computer case. So there's lots of component inside the computer case. So let's see what we have inside the computer case. So we can see we have the power supply, we have CPU, we have hard disk, we have CD drive, we have motherboard, we have GPU, and there are lots of cables inside the CPU case. So now let's discuss each component one by one and know what is the purpose of each component inside the CPU and inside the computer. Okay, so first of all, the main component is called the computer case. So what is a computer case? A computer case is the unit in which all other components are stored. The case prevents dust, which can damage components and performance. Case size depends on the motherboard size as it is major component, and the case are built from various materials, for example, steel, aluminum, plastic, wood, glass, and even Legos. Okay. Next component is called the CPU case fan. So what is CPU case fan? So computer components use power and get hot during the operation. A case fan is attached to cool the components and prevent overheating. If a computer is needed for a high performance task that will require more power, it may need more than one case fan. So the basic purpose of the CPU case fan is to make a CPU cool. Okay. Next component of a computer system is called the motherboard. So what is a motherboard? The motherboard connect and facilitate the communication among all computer components. It provides power to components from the power supply unit. So there is a power supply unit, and from the power supply unit is attached to the motherboard, and motherboard provides the power to all other components. The motherboard houses the CPU and features slots for components like RAM and graphic cards. It has lots of pins around the edge where the cables can be plugged into to power the different components. That's all about the motherboard. Next component is called the CPU or Central Processing Unit. This is the main component. CPU is known as the brain of the computer. CPU is responsible for the operation for each fetch, decode, execute cycle that the computer carries out. So we learn about the fetch, decode, execute cycle in chapter 3. So next component is called the CPU cooling fan. So we have two fans, right? First one is the CPU case fan, and second fan is called the CPU cooling fan. CPU gets hot due to constant work and cycles. CPU must stay cool to work properly. A fan on top keep it at the right temperature. So we need a fan on top of the CPU to make sure the CPU temperature is correct. Cooling methods vary from simple fans to water cooling fans. So there are different methods, different types of cooling fans. The simple fan, and also there are some water cooling fans. Okay. Next component of a computer is called the PSU or power supply unit. PSU supply power to computer's motherboard and other peripherals. PSU have different power levels. More watts mean more power. A regular PC needs 300 to 500 watts power supply unit. Stronger PCs with lots of parts need over 1000 watts of PSU or power supply unit. Okay, next component is called the RAM or random access memory. So RAM is the component that temporarily stores data in computer that is waiting to be processed. Okay. So the RAM goes into the motherboard and comes in different sizes. Common computer uses 8 GB and high performance computer use up to 32 GB. Okay. You can add more RAM, like adding a card. So you can upgrade the RAM. Okay, so if your computer has a 8 GB RAM and you think your performance of your computer is not good, so you can replace it with the 16 GB or 32 GB. Okay. Next component is called the graphic card. So what is graphic card? A graphic card makes the picture and video appear on the screen. Some PCs have simple GPU on the motherboard. Most computers need better graphics. For example, if you want to play games, so you need a better graphic card. So they use the dedicated graphic cards. Next component is called the hard drive. So what is a hard drive? The hard drive is where all the files and the software that you use on the computer are permanently stored. Earlier, computer only had the 250 to 500 GB of data storage, but now it is common to have 1 terabyte of storage. So there are two types of hard drive. One is called the HDD and second one is called the SSD. So HDD have a moving part while the SSD doesn't have a moving part, and the speed of SSD is higher than the HDD. Next component is called the optical drive. So what is optical drive? The optical drives retrieve and or store data on the optical disc like CDs, DVDs, and the Blu-ray disc. So this is a drive that we use to read and write data from the optical disc. So modern computers do not usually come with the CD drive anymore because most information is stored online. So these days we don't need a CD drive because most of the data is stored online and we can just download it from the internet. But in old days we have a CD, so where we have the softwares and we can use the CD drive to install the software from the CDs. So that's it for this class. See you in the next class. Bye.